And welcome to our community. Suzie Thomas here with you this morning. And joining us is Bev Jordan from the Stark Social Workers Network, actually the founder. Good morning, Bev.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you, and thank you for being here. Let's go back to 1989, and you saw a need. What was it that made you decide to do this?
Well, at that time, I was employed as a Children's Protective Services worker. I investigated abuse and neglect, and we would get all kind of calls, and quite a few that were no food, maybe a dirty home, maybe parents who didn't have a clue about parenting, sometimes folks who just couldn't provide some basic needs for their children. Mm-hmm. And after a while, we kind of, myself and some of the other workers, thought there has to be a different way other than kids going into the system, because the system is not meant to raise children. So in the back of my mind, I said, well, I could always get something together and we could give away food. We could help some of the young folks who don't know how to be moms or dads. And so while I was at the department and talking with some of the other workers, we decided to start an agency. There would be a network of all social workers to put our resources together and help folks instead of removing their children. And it partially started, some of us got together, but it seems that some of the other social workers went ahead. They went and they got their master's degree and they kind of kept moving. And I was determined that this was something that had to be done. Mm-hmm. I had removed my last child and put them in the system because their parents didn't have groceries. Mm-hmm. So in a way, we just kind of bumped around and got some churches involved. There was a church in Massillon and St. Paul's in North Canton who would help us provide groceries and clothes for some of the families we work with. So that's basically how it got started.
Wow. And then over the years, how has it grown and expanded, and connect the dots from 1989 to 2015?
Well, to connect the dots, oh boy, I went to school. I started really as a...
That's okay. Oh, our phones will do that sometime. No problem at all. Just hit off. That's okay. Right. You'd gone to school?
Yeah. I started as a teen parent before I started working at the department, so I was aware of the struggles of young moms. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I had my children when I was 16 and 17. I went on to school and I got an associate degree. I lived in Akron, and I moved to Canton, and that's where I started to work for the department. And from there, I went ahead and became a volunteer mm-hmm. with Head Start along with my children.
Nice, yeah.
And continued to find out what it was like to be a young mom, some of the struggles. So when I became a social worker, I remembered those things. And after I investigated abuse and neglect for a while, I kind of went back and I thought, people not only need some of the basic things, but they need support. They need somebody who has been where they've been.
Yes.
And can remember those days and offer them support. I talked to some other folks in the community about joining with me, first as volunteers to help pick up clothes and pick up food and different things, and see that they were distributed to families who were referred to us. I would have social workers who I used to work with call and say, Bev, we have this family, and if they only had food, or if you could help them at Christmas time. And so it just kind of grew from there. People calling and myself and some volunteers getting together to collect clothes and food. One of the volunteers was Brenda Kimbrough, a long time ago. Brenda was a great help. There was another lady, Lola Lewis, who also helped. And when you do that kind of thing, after a while, you have to get organized.
Yes.
I continued with school to get my bachelor's, and I had gotten my license as a social worker. So you learn a few things, a few book things that help you along, but mostly the heart and the gut that kind of kept us going. And I was surprised how many people were willing to help. I was surprised at how many people understood folks who had issues. So it was easy to get a group of folks who would support some of the things that we did.
Mm-hmm. I love the way you said that, because you were able to add the head knowledge to the main thing, the heart and the gut. The response of young ladies to be able to identify with you, someone who's been there but is able to offer hope. It must be incredibly difficult. Just thinking how difficult parenting is.
Oh, yeah.
Being a single mom, being a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
That just has to add layer upon layer of it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to, how did you lift yourself up before being able to lift other people up as well?
Well, my mom was a giver from way back. When I was younger, if people were homeless, sometimes she'd let us spend the night. She would feed people all the time in the community. And so it was something I was kind of brought up with, that, but by the grace of God, it could be us.
Exactly.
And my mom would say that all the time. She'd say, if it wasn't for the Lord, it would be us. And so you shouldn't mind sharing. You shouldn't mind not having a birthday party. So some of the things that I experienced as a child, everything just connects. Nothing happens out of the blue. Things just connect. I know that in the system and dealing with some of the social service agencies even now, one area that a lot of people don't want to discuss with younger people are relationships. I hear, they'll never do good, or we're just going to deal with parenting or getting food and groceries. And my thing is, but you know what? There's always two people involved. There are always relationships. Sometimes that may be the heart of an issue. And when people don't know where to turn or how to get in or out of relationships, that can make a difference in their life, especially with young moms and some of the young folks we deal with now. The relationship is really in the forefront, but when you look at programs and organizations, that seems a little touchy, so they don't bother that. And a lot of people need support or how to make good decisions about relationships and how they deal with folks in their lives.
Sometimes it's just a matter of going back a few steps, right? And you see that a couple of choices made differently could prevent a lot of hardship down the road.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like that's where you're trying to get down to the real nugget of the matter.
Right. And I don't mind silence. And a lot of times people just want you to sit and just be there.
Yes.
Just be there.
Yes.
So.
Very good. We're talking with Bev Jordan. She's founder and now executive director of the Stark Social Workers Network. Yes. So how does the network work? Yesterday we spoke to someone from the Stark the Hunger Task Force. And so I'm wondering if possibly you are connected with them as far as food provision. But how do you connect all these social workers and social help agencies and organizations into a unit?
Well, I would say that we're kind of a hub of resources. We work with any organization that has something to offer for the folks that need help. A lot of times we wind up with families, individuals who don't know how to access what they need. It may be they don't know where to call. They may not be able to fill out applications. They may not understand questions. They may not understand the system or the processes they have to go through. And we sit down with them. I have 3 people that work at my agency. I have a ton of contract workers. And we come up with a plan. Regardless of what they need, there's always a plan to get it.
That is a huge point that you make. How do people know that they can contact you? How do you get the word to the people who need you most that you are here for them?
Well, the Department of Job and Family Services, believe it or not, will send us folks who they think may need a little more support than some of the agency social workers can give them. They may need more time. Sometimes they're resistant. Sometimes they just don't understand the system. So the department may refer people. People even call United Way, and when all else fails, they call Stark Social Workers Network. Word of mouth is immense. We have people who heard about us at the drive-thru. We have people who are in the grocery store, and they said, well, go over to Stark Social. We heard that they can help. So word of mouth is immense. We also do a lot of work in Canton City schools, and so a couple of the schools we have good relationships with their community workers, and they'll send folks. So it's just a word of mouth. Various agencies, they know that we spend and will take a lot of time to work with families. The people that work at my place usually have been through a lot of struggles. My only requirement is that you come out healthy enough on the other side to support people.
To help someone else.
And so we have folks that do that, and word just travels.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, we're talking with Bev Jordan. She's from the Stark Social Workers Network. You've been around since 1989. I would imagine that, and we will get into this on the other side of our break, but I imagine you have some wonderful success stories.
Yes. You would be surprised. We're surprised sometimes at how just a helping hand, just taking an extra hour, extra day, and 2 or 3 years later, 2 or 3 days later, somebody shows up and they say thank you. Miss Jordan. They call me Mrs. Jordan. Mrs. Jordan, it was great. So,
and then they want to be on the other side and help someone else.
Oh, definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, we will get more into that, but in the meantime, what do you need? Is there a way to contribute diapers, things that come to mind that people need, food, clothing, such and such? How do you make a donation? I'm sure monetary donations are always welcome.
Right. Well, of course, monetary donations, but people give what they feel is needed oftentimes. And since we do so many programs, there's always something needed. We have a baby closet where we give away free baby clothes, and the number one call there are diapers. And at one point we were asking for cloth diapers and disposable diapers, but I have no idea where you'd find a piece of cloth diaper now. That is just so obsolete. But
in a museum, maybe.
Right. But Pampers, especially the larger sizes for our baby closet, and then we do a lot of work with folks just returning out of the penitentiary, or people who have criminal justice backgrounds or involved with the system. A lot of times they come, they get jobs, they have no transportation, they don't know how to take the bus, so bus passes, fuel cards, infant baby clothes. I have to go back because I know the lady who coordinates our baby clothes is like, we need boys' clothes. So baby clothes. And we issue homeless certificates. So we get homeless folks sometime who have very limited cooking abilities. So we try to give them things that they can, maybe if they go to a gas station, can use their microwave. So any microwavable food, the couple of the famous noodles that everybody, you send them to school with your college kids. So, that.
Yeah. Okay, well, some good ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And how about a website and phone number where people can contact to say, wow, that was a good list, but I need help remembering it?
Right. Well, we have a Facebook page.
Okay.
And our website is SSWN, and our phone number is 330-455-2260.
Great. All right. We're going to be back with more after these words. You're listening to Our Community.